Like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, told him I'ma hit it out the stands. I deserve another 100 bands. I deserve another 100 fans. Told them this was always in the plans. I just did it cause they said I can. Blowing euros when I'm down in France. Labels asking how I built a brand. Told them put a check up in my hands. Still got time, no cap. Made a few checks, but they all in the rest. Had a few friends, but they stuck in the past. I don't even trip when I'm thinking about that. Hopped in the whip and we all in black. Shawty wanna ride till the hop in the back. 0 to 100, seen the rev on the dash. They ain't catching up, dog, I'm moving too fast. I'm in the big leagues. Told them don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in a big league.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. We are live here, coming up on the 1 p.m. hour Eastern Standard Time on February the 10th, 2022. Man, the year is already moving along. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like button on your way in the building. Thank you to all the mods that are holding it down, handling business. Thank you to all the members of the channel. Thank you so much for your love and support. Y'all punch that like button. I've been actually on the phone talking to YouTube or Google, I would say, about these notifications, and they actually... First time they actually said, yeah, they do see an issue because only 20% of the subs are getting the initial notifications. So they'll email me back with a resolution. Hopefully they can figure out what's going on. But they haven't been getting the notifications out, going on almost 2 weeks now. But it's all good. In the meantime, hopefully they fix it eventually. In the meantime, make sure y'all keep hitting that like button. Let all the subscribers know that we are live. And I'll keep trying to work hard to get that taken care of. Chef Jew, you don't have the mod? That don't make sense, man. Yeah, you're right. I got you, man. You just got it, bro. All right, man. But we're about to dive in. We got to talk about Mike McDaniel press conference. And I'm just gonna be 1,000 with y'all. I'm falling in love with Mike McDaniel. Pause, right? It's really about everything he's been saying that I'm falling in love with. Now, don't get me wrong. The press conference, 80% of it was all fluff, right? I mean, that's typical. That's any coach. That's always going to be that way. Fluff, tell you what you want to hear, all the good stuff. But there's some key things that were said that I really can get behind and appreciate. And it gave me, it kind of gave me my little jitters back of a semblance of hope. But the hope wasn't in the immediate future. It's the long-term future for our organization. And I know a lot of people, they definitely probably don't want to hear anything related to long term with this team because we all want it now. But that's not how it works. We're just gonna talk about his overall um ability to be successful long term. I think is going to be a good look here in Miami. I've liked Mike McDaniels. Again, he's not somebody that I would have hired because it's still a crapshoot. You don't know what you're gonna get. I would have liked a more established coach that I at least knew what I was gonna get from that coach. But out of the candidates that we were looking at, I felt like he was the best option. But I will say this: why do so many people automatically dislike him though? That's something that I really didn't understand, like the dislike of Mike McDaniel. And I've tried to try to figure out why do people not like him though? Like, what did he do to them, or what do they dislike? I can't really find anything to really dislike about the man. I think he's a great man. I think he has some issues in the past that he works to resolve, and I'm really behind people who are able to fix their lives from coming from, issues that they may have had in the past. I love that about him. And I don't know what it is. I think I ain't gonna lie, I started to think about it and I put a few theories in place. I think it may have something to do with Brian Flores. People who are just so in love with Brian Flores, it's like how can I put this? It's like being dumped by your girlfriend, I guess, and she with her new man, and you're the best friend of the person who got dumped. Um Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Is that why maybe that's why people automatically don't like him? But I'm here to tell y'all, get over it. Okay, move on. Okay. Brian Flores ain't coming back. It's okay. It's okay. All right. He's not coming back. Whether you thought he was done wrong or not, he's not coming back. You shouldn't be taking that out on a new coach if you feel that way. You shouldn't be taking that out on a new coach, because sometimes you never know in your life the job that you got, that job could have been replacing somebody that was done wrong. You don't know. So I think it's wise that everybody give this man a fair shot, a fair opportunity to be great for our organization. I actually think he will be. I'm not sure if he'll have immediate success, like right off the bat. Like, yeah, I just think that over time he's going to build something special once he determines, what he has and what he can win with. He'll go from there. I think that's what it is. Also, I think some people may not like him because of the Tua endorsement. That's unfair too. He has a right to come in believing in Tua and getting behind Tua. Matter of fact, that's what you should want. You should want a coach coming in unbiased with his own opinion, ready to work, ready to see what he can get out of somebody and move forward from there. We all may have our perceptions and preconceived notions, but it's unfair to put what you believe on a new coach who should know better than all of us. And he should know better than all of us based off of his experience. And at the end of the day, he deserves the proper opportunity to draw his own conclusion and thought process. He ain't supposed to come into this process and be like, yeah, I saw some film on Tua. He ain't the guy. We gonna move on, Dolphin fans. No. He's supposed to sing his quarterback's praise and hope that he can get the most out of him and the best out of him that can help us win. And he'll determine if he can do that or if he can't over time. But to not like him because he's willing to work with Tua or develop Tua, that's big time unfair. That's unfair. he should be the man that definitely has a fresh slate with everybody. Unfortunately, though, that slate also comes with the potential of keeping guys like Jesse Davis and blah, 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 because he got to learn to see if maybe it's not the player, but the coach, the previous coaches. He has to determine that himself. So there is a possibility that you'll get stuck with some players just out of the process of seeing what he can get out of them first. Before we move on, if we ever need to. Somebody said Jesse Davis got to go, bro. He's so bad. Yeah, but as a new, fresh green head coach, it's like, is he bad? Or was he badly coached? It's unfair for me to make that assumption without putting my hands on him and seeing myself. Because there's a thing called skill versus will. If you don't have the will to do it, then it's easy for me to let you go. But if you have the will to do it and it's a skill issue, it's my job to correct skill. So long as you have will, most head coaches believe they can help you with the skill. Most of them believe that. It's Mike McDaniel. See, y'all got to stop beating up on me about his name. I am trying. Do you not see the effort? Look at the title of the video. I didn't put an S on there today. And the first 5 times I said Mike McDaniel in this stream, I did not use an S. And maybe I just shot one off. I'm trying. It's going to have to come over time. Cut me some slack, man. Mike McDaniel. And if I say Mike McDaniels the 8th time, it's just because I'm used to it. Cut me some slack, man. I am trying. Look, I got the spelling right. I actually said McDaniel like 5 times already. And now that I'm just going off of my thought process, I may add an S slipping. I'm sorry. I'm trying, all right? It's not intentional. I'll get it, okay? Eventually, I will get it, hopefully. But anyway, man, like I said, skill versus will, any new coach should feel like if the player has the will, it's their job to bring out the skill. So they just don't give up on people. And that's what Mike McDaniel represented today and yesterday to me. He wants to bring the best out of every player. He kind of dialed back his love affair of Tua from yesterday, because yesterday, the phone call and all of that was just over the top. PR, but over the top. And his responses today were a little bit more dialed back. It was more so, get him in, go to work. And, just, my goal for him is just to work hard. It's that simple, man. He went away from those, I'm looking for the future and the blah, blah, blah. He went more so neutral. It's about all the players, and I'm expecting them all to work hard. So that was interesting. But we'll see. Time always tells. But furthermore, let me say this. Here's some of the things that I loved about his messaging. This is something that I firmly believe, and he actually reiterated it, and I've been saying this for a long time. Even me and EM had a debate on it, and we've both agreed that we're both right to an extent. McDaniel is the type of coach that he's going to create a scheme around his players. Kind of like what they did for Tua last year. Create a scheme that works for him in the O-line. But he's going to create a scheme that works for all players, not just one or a unit. Works for all players. Yeah, it's going to be the West Coast offense, but it's going to be more creative because you have your prototypical players for the West Coast offense, right? But you're coming into a situation where you already have players that may not absolutely fit the scheme of a West Coast offense. So what do? Do you get rid of that player and bring in players that fit the scheme? No. I've always told y'all the greatest coaches don't need to do that. The basic, old school, regular coaches, they do that. The great, innovative coaches, they don't need to replace a player to fit the scheme. They adjust the scheme to fit the player. And those are the coaches that I love. The coaches that I get behind. The coaches that can take what they get and make something out of it versus complain about what they have and want to replace it. But it can only go but so far. Because that approach right now is going to be followed with Tua. He has certain limitations, but we're going to create a scheme that best fits him. We got an O-line that has limitations. We're going to best create a scheme that fits them. We have, receivers that may have certain issues. We're going to create a system that benefits them. Running backs, linebackers, all of that stuff. Somebody said, man, TD, you on new meds? You talking common sense. Oh, man. I always talk common sense. I just think I get a little overly passionate about the things that I believe. And when people disagree with them, they want to tell me that there's something wrong with me. But right now, I'm just even keel because I love the interview that I just saw. And it kind of gave me a little bit of hope. But it's not hope for the immediate future, but the long term. Because I think that this team right now, we're in another rebuild that you're not going to notice. We're in another rebuild. Why do I say we're in a rebuild? Because in my opinion, we got a defense that's built for 2 years. Because it's going to be very hard to replace those two dogs on the outside. And their time is coming to an end soon. Their time is coming to an end soon. Whether you want to give them 1 year or 2, their time is coming to an end soon. It's that simple. And it's not going to be easy to replace them. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. McDaniel said something yesterday that I liked, but it's also scary. He said, even if our defense has to take a drop in production and our offense takes a big leap, it's about winning games, figuring out a way to build a team to win games. And everybody keeps hampering on the success in San Francisco, the success everywhere they've gone. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I have to say it. Where's the Super Bowl? Where's the Lombardi in that process? Shanahan and his process is a winning process, but where's the Super Bowl? Where's the Lombardi? That's what matters. And my biggest fear is you follow I used this analogy like 20 minutes ago. I was talking to EM. I said, my biggest fear is this. It's like going to your nearest lake, right? And your friend tells you there's $1 million. There's $1 billion buried on the bank of this lake somewhere. And you get your diving gear and you start clearing the lake. Now, it could take you 5 years to clear this whole lake, but you're going to start. That's $1 billion. It's worth it. But your friend has already searched for 5 years and couldn't find it himself. But he still tells you that it's in there, and you go in for 5 years looking for it yourself. And what if all this time John Doe already creeped in there and got it. And you just don't know that. It's like following a process that does not have a winning end to it, but you're still pursuing it anyway. That's my biggest fear. Kyle Shanahan has built winning teams consistently, but they have not been good enough to win it all. And what if that formula is a good formula, but it ain't the formula that gets the job done for the ultimate goal? You stick with Jimmy G all of these years, and now you want to move on. Was he the issue? Because if he wasn't the issue, then why aren't you continuing to stick with him? And then I have to ask y'all that. What was the issue in San Francisco? Why couldn't they win a Super Bowl? People give me all kind of reasons. Why don't y'all help me? Because the defense was on point. They built the O-line. They have a great run game. Nice receivers. Why is it so hard for them to get over the top and win that Super Bowl? Anybody know? Please tell me. Any reasons other than Jimmy G? I know everybody's saying Jimmy G, a quarterback. Somebody said because they lost the football game, but there's always a reason why you lose the football game. In that football game that you lost, your defense played well. Why did they lose the football game? You can't just say because you lost the football game. Because if that's the case, we need to just stick with what we have now and just basically say we keep missing the playoffs by one game because we lost the football game, a football game. So if that's the formula of success, what is your definition of success? Is it just winning games to be competitive and, whatever? Or is it to build a team that can compete for a Super Bowl? So I find myself stuck in that situation, struggling with it, feeling like this format doesn't get it done. It just doesn't get it done. But then I say to myself, well, you know what? If this format doesn't get it done, let's still take this format and say, how can we improve it to get it done? And I look at San Francisco and I say, well, how can you improve that team to get it done? When you look at San Francisco 49ers, how can you improve that team to win a Super Bowl? Or do they need to just settle with the fact they're going to be who they are at the best, just coming up just short every time? How can you build that team to be a Super Bowl winning team? That's what I come up with. And I don't look at ways that they could get better on the defense because they're already doing more than what anybody could ask on defense. I don't look at the improvement of the O-line because they give their quarterback great time to throw the ball. They also open amazing run lanes. I don't look at the receivers because they have good weapons. I don't look at the run game because, they are one of the league leaders in running the ball. But I always come back to they have an opportunity to get better at the quarterback position. And Jimmy G ain't no scrub. He ain't no bum. He ain't great. He ain't elite. He ain't really good, but he ain't no bum. He's not. And I got to ask y'all, are the 49ers a QB away from winning a Super Bowl? You know how they say, oh, y'all need to stop. The Dolphins ain't a QB away. We got all these holes. Let's talk about San Francisco because that's the blueprint we're about to follow. Are they a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl? Are they? Many would argue they are. And again, that's what I struggle with. TD, they were one game out of it. I know. That's what we're talking about. They were one game out of it. Why did they lose that game? For everybody who keeps telling me they were one game away, tell me, why did they lose the game? And go back to the other one, the Super Bowl, the one they actually went to. Why did they lose the game? We can't ignore these things. We can't look at things that show you whether it works or not in your face, but just ignore it because it doesn't fit the narrative that you would like. Why did they not win a Super Bowl when they went to it? And why did they just lose that game that could have took them to a Super Bowl? Why? You got to stop with this offensive line. Whoever DIY is, they said offensive line. Are you kidding me? You don't know that team at all if you're going to say it was because of the O-line. Because when the further you get in the playoffs, the better the pass rush gets, period. Every O-line is going to have a rough go at it regardless. And again, I'm not saying that they need to win every year, but they keep coming up short. They keep going far a lot. This isn't about winning every year. They're not a quarterback away from winning every year. It's still going to be hard, but they keep going far and coming up short. But it's not because of the defense. It's not because of the O-line. It's not because of the running game, and it's not because of the weapons. It's just not. TD, let's say Dolphins hire you as GM. What's your first move, and what would you change and bring in realistically, and how would you spend free agency money? To be quite honest with you, if I like legitimately, if I'm going to answer this legitimately, if I just miraculously got the ability to be the GM today, I'm keeping everything the same for the first year. I'm sitting back and I'm evaluating every aspect of the franchise from my level down. I'm evaluating every coach. That's the head coach, the coordinators, the position coaches. I'm evaluating every player. I'm evaluating everything. Just sitting back and learning what is really going on in the building. It's not an outside looking in, coming in and be like, all right, get rid of him, go get him. No. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to evaluate everything. And that's the only answer I can give you, because based off of what I discover is going to determine the changes that need to be made. There's some things that I would recognize. You know what? I actually see the talent even in Tua, and I see where the issue is, and I may need to get rid of that issue. I may see where this player is just really bad and it has nothing to do with coaching, and I may say, yeah, we're going to need to replace that player. But I'm going to come in and evaluate, and that's what Mike McDaniel is going to do, I hope. Instead of having a preconceived notion about anybody. Now, that's not going to stop me from doing obvious things right away. If I know that my right tackle is the worst in the league and I got an opportunity to get one of the best at a really good deal or whatever it may be, those are things that are no-brainers. I'm not going to sit here and need to evaluate. But I will evaluate the cost benefit. I will have a cost benefit analysis. What's the cost and the benefit, and does the cost outweigh the benefit or vice versa? If DeVonta Adams wants Miami, you drop the bank for him. No, you don't. See, these are the things that you evaluate. What if I come in the organization and confirm that my quarterback has struggles with accuracy and throwing the deep ball? I don't know if that's the case. But what if I come in and I actually confirm that versus speculating that? Why am I going to go get D Adams until I know I can replace that? Or maybe the process isn't to replace that, but go get receivers that's conducive to what he can do. It's not about just grabbing a player. Sometimes that player you grab will be shorthanded or vice versa. I'm just going to throw $30 million at a receiver, not even knowing if I have the weapon to deliver it to him. Come on. 30 million? Because he's the best? So what if he wants 40 million? What if he wants 50? At some point it gets ridiculous, right? So where does that line draw for you as individuals? Where does the line draw for you as an individual? And that's the point. 30 million is ridiculous for any receiver. Any receiver. No receiver deserves $30 million a year, period. I'm sorry. Y'all already know how I feel about quarterbacks getting 45 and 50. Ain't no receiver deserve no 30 million a year. I don't care how great you are. And don't forget, he's getting long in the tooth. He's getting old. I don't care that he's still playing great. Don't be the team that experiences his decline. That's another thing that nobody really considers anymore. Nobody considers that anymore. At what point do you start to bet against longevity? At what point is it appropriate to bet against longevity? This man could be DeVonta Adams could be turning 45 next week. I'm never betting on that. I'm never giving a 4 to 5 year deal to a guy who's getting older. And I done gave him the bag with all that guaranteed money, and he's sitting on my roster on the injury report every year. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Call it negative all you want, but for some reason, it seems like players pick Miami to do that more than anybody. If you're a great player and you old, if you can get a contract from Miami, you better go get it. You go sit on that roster and complain about every ailment you got. You're getting paid anyway. I do not want to go through what we went through with Rashad Jones again. Do y'all know how many years we've been eating that dead cap? We just finished eating the dead cap for Ndamukong Suh. This was the last year we finished paying. How long has it been since Ndamukong Suh ain't been on this roster, y'all? How long has it been? However long it's been, guess what? We just finished paying all of that money. Three years later or more, and we just finished paying this man money. We got to stop that. That brings me to another conversation with Xavier Howard. 3 years ago, we were arguing. People got mad at me. I said we need to trade Xavier Howard. So here we are 3 years later. Can somebody tell me what the benefit of paying him $15 million a year did us? Can somebody in the comment section please tell me what was the benefit of the last 3 years paying him $15 million? What was the benefit? Xavier Howard is an exceptional talent. Let's get that straight first, because people lie on me, make it seem like I don't like him. Xavier Howard is an exceptional talent. But what good is that talent if you're going to be using it during your rebuild? What good is that talent if you're going to use it during your rebuild? Same thing with Laramie Tunsil. I told y'all, we about to rebuild. Why are we going to pay this man $20 million a year for the next 3 years during a rebuild? Why? Somebody said teach other DBs. Please tell me what DB done developed under Xavier Howard. Don't give me no Coleman or Nick Needham. No, we just got a good DB coach, by the way. Oh, we in rebuild, but y'all want to win now. Lucas, I'm not even in win now mode. I'm in building mode. I've gotten off of the win now mode. Any Dolphin fan who's in win now mode, they're living in a state of delusion. If they don't see what's happened over the last 30 days, they should recognize we are not in win now mode. We are in building mode. We just want to be competitive this year and make the playoffs and be satisfied. Now, I know we're going to spend that $80 million and they're going to be like, well, that should be the end of it. Reset with your new coach. Exactly. It's going to be a reset. Because first of all, he got to get in here and see who's going to work for his future and who's not. I think he may give a lot of these old linemen and stuff a fair shot, a fair opportunity. And as he determines, once he gets his coaching and his staff's coaching on him, and he determines who's right for his team and who's not, that'll be next year, making those adjustments. I'll do you one better, ladies and gentlemen. I look for the Dolphins to potentially not even spend the full $80 million this offseason. They may carry over the max that they may be allowed to carry over next season. Next year, believe it or not, you might see a total in a whole new overload. You might see a team with not just without X, but without X and Byron. Real talk. You might see a team without X and Byron. Somebody said, does Watson fit a West Coast offense? Well, I'm not really focused on Watson anymore because at least we finally got more, what I at least feel like is more of an assurance that we will be going with Tua. That's all we've asked them to do for the last 2 years is go ahead and come out and say it. And as long as they didn't say it, many of us said, hey, we're in play to upgrade at the position. But I feel like even though they still technically they still ain't say it, but the endorsement was strong enough to feel good about them knowing which direction they're going to try to go. And that's with Tua. Now, as far as Watson in the West Coast offense, Watson can run any offense. And on top of that, here's another thing you need to understand. With a Deshaun Watson, you don't have to run a West Coast offense. Understand that a West Coast offense is there for you to rely on the run game. When you got a guy like Watson, you don't have to rely on the run game anymore. Let's get something straight. A West Coast offense is not an explosive offense. It's a game managing offense. It's an offense that tries to dominate the time of possession. It's an offense that tries to wear a team down on the other side of the ball. It's an offense that's built to, if it's executed perfectly, should do its part in demoralizing the defense that's going against it. It's not this explosive offense where you're just big plays all day and you scoring in 30 seconds on drives and all of that stuff. Guys like Watson don't need all of those parameters to be successful. Somebody says, so Joe Montana needed West Coast. I'm not sure. I wasn't familiar with the Joe Montana when he was in the trenches. But just because you're in that offense doesn't mean you need it if you're great. You can adjust to another one as well. But hey, put it like this. West Coast offense is just easy for the elite guys. Keep handing it off, keep tossing it, sucking the defense in, taking the shots when you get when the look presents itself. It's easy. It's less reliable on the quarterback. You don't have to rely on the quarterback to be just great in that offense. It's not an easy offense to run, but it's an easier offense to, I would say, execute. You have to be good up here to run it, though. Just a question, TD. Well, did you ask one? You got to ask the question. I didn't see your question. Go ahead and ask. Thank you, TD. I'm not feeling great about our team, but you may feel better about our team at TDPHINSTALK. Yeah, man, I'm telling y'all, look at all of this for the future, man. Because I think McDaniel is a good coach, and he's going to be a great coach, but it's not going to happen overnight for him. Because he's been tossed into a situation with a whole bunch of unknowns, but he also has to give all those unknowns a fair shot. And whatever he discovers out of that could be rough at first. But eventually, as we start to make the necessary changes and adjustments, you can see his vision start to come into play. It's a more complex offense. Exactly. It's more complex, but as far as the throws that need to be made and all of that stuff, from a physical standpoint, it's easier. You have to use your mental more in this offense because you got to know a lot more. You got to know the different wrinkles you can run out of it. All of that. Have you talked about him calling plays? No, thank you for saying that. So he did say in a press conference that he will be calling the plays. He said it in the press conference that he will be calling the plays. Which I like because he's taking ownership of it. And now we have to sit back and see how he does as a play caller. He also kind of elaborated, if you really dug into what he said about the pass calling plays. I told y'all I spoke to a beat writer that said he was not calling plays. People need to stop lying. It's a false narrative. And when you heard what McDaniel said today, it kind of reiterated that. He said, I'll be calling plays, but y'all please understand, it's a group effort. You know, it's a group effort where we all create the scheme together, the game plan together. He said just like when he was with San Francisco, they all worked together to create the scheme. And that's pretty much all he said. And I'm telling you what that means is Shanahan called the plays. He may have called down sometimes and said, hey, this might be a good time to run this. Hey, I'm thinking that. But Shanahan got the sheet. Shanahan made the final decisions. Shanahan called every play. It's that simple. Drubbertron said Big O spoke with another beat writer who said he did call plays. Whose beat writer is telling the truth? You know what, Drubbertron? All I can do is go off of what McDaniel and Shanahan says out of their own mouth. All I can go off of, forget the beat writer I talked to, forget the other beat writer. Let's go look at what Shanahan and McDaniel has said out of their own mouth. McDaniel told you today he's going to be calling the plays, but as far as coming up with the game plan, it's a group effort. You have to lean on others as well, which also suggests Shanahan called the freaking plays, and he also had a group effort coming up with the game plan with McDaniel and everybody else. Now, you could go look at every report from San Francisco, and this is what you saw in 2021 in San Francisco. In September, fans upset with Shanahan's play calling. In November, fans excited about Shanahan's play calling is finally back to its form. January, fans disappointed in Shanahan's play calling. And you got the interviews in those reports, in those articles, with quotes of what Shanahan says about the play calling, about the decisions that he makes. Of course, your OC is going to, hey, man, I think this is a good one right here. Hey, this is a play. But I am telling you now, Mike McDaniel was not the guy doing this on every single play. All right, on this one, let's run blah, 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 blah. Watch the play. All right, now let's run blah, 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 blah. If that was the case, it would never need to go to Shanahan and be approved to even go into the quarterback. Because guess who's communicating with the quarterback? And to be quite honest with you, I don't even care at this point, because does it even matter? He called plays. He didn't call plays. If it makes anybody feel better, he called all the plays in San Francisco. Let's just act like he did then. Now we get to see how that looks in Miami, because he is going to definitely call all of our plays, as he stated today. We don't have to get caught up in the logistics of who's telling the truth on whether or not he called plays. He called all the plays in San Francisco. Let's do that. But now we get to evaluate what it looks like calling them in Miami. And I just hope he doesn't end up like one of those head coaches that come in calling plays, and then we be talking about, well, he's a good coach, we just need to bring somebody in to help him with play calling. Haven't we said that a million times with the last 10 coaches we had? TD is right about the play calling. Honestly, this is his first time seeing people say McDaniel called plays. I thought we all knew Shanahan called plays. No, it started, but it doesn't matter. I don't even want to get into that. I don't want to be right about this is his first time calling plays, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's going to call them for us now. Whether he got experience or not, we'll see how good he is of calling them when he's a Miami Dolphin on the field on Sunday as a coach. That's all that matters. At some point, we got to stop arguing about stuff that doesn't change the end result. They don't do nothing but make things, back and forth about trying to prove who's right and who's wrong. Somebody said this is the nitpick show. It is. I'll admit that. I'm a nitpicker. Because the reason why losers lose is because they don't pay attention to the small details. They don't nitpick. That's why losers lose. The small things aren't important to the losers. That's exactly why losers lose. And Mike McDaniel is a nitpicker. Because all the small things matter to get a victory. So are you a loser or are you a winner? Are you a loser or are you a winner? People kill me with that. It's the same example with Tua. He throws a slant pass behind the receiver and the receiver catches it. Why y'all nitpicking because it was behind? It was still caught. 3 plays later, he throws a slant behind a receiver, but the DB plays it a little better and picks it off. Tua got to throw a better ball than that. The placement was bad. You could have saw that on the first one and start correcting it then. You want to wait for the tragedy to take place before you even start correcting it. That's that lazy stuff to me. It was still complete. So don't even talk about it. It's okay. Jesse Davis missed his block, but Tua still got it off, and it was a first down. We don't got to say nothing to Jesse Davis. The play still worked. No. Somebody said that's every QB. Exactly, and every QB should be scrutinized and criticized that way. You ain't saying nothing new. That is every QB. And if every QB that got a good coach, they're going to be right on top of it. Hey, we got the touchdown, but that ball placement got to be better. That was a little scary. You got to bring this stuff up. Some of y'all don't like that. That's why some people don't win in life. They constantly lose because they're okay with the status quo. Long as it's just enough to get by. That's them lazy people. They never do more than enough. They never guarantee themselves. They okay with just getting by. They okay with that. It's laziness. So yeah, we are the Nitpick channel. And I can only pray that my coach is a nitpick coach. Because if he is, I know we have a chance. If he isn't, and maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe they're not coaching some of these guys in a nitpick fashion. Maybe that could be part of the issue. I don't know. I wasn't there to see exactly how Flores coaches day in and day out every time. But maybe that was part of his issue too, or his staff, even with Tua. Anything that worked, it's okay. No need to critique. We only critique what didn't work. No, critique everything. What worked and different work. Tom Brady told you that on the interview last year. He said, I'm always searching for that perfect pass. Tom Brady said it out of his own mouth. You know what the general fan sees on TV is a completion, but I'm sitting there kicking myself like, man, that could have been a lot better. Tom Brady always says that I'm always searching for the perfect pass. It's hard to do, but I'm always searching for it. Every game I have several passes and I'm like, man, that should have been better. But if you're not at least searching for it, that's why you never have a level of greatness. You're okay with just the simple completion. Somebody said, TD, it's easier to quit than try harder. You're right. Beyond easier. But that's why when I hear comments like this, and they only say these comments to try to argue with me as if my point ain't valid, I'm sorry. I'm going to always change some of y'all mindsets. Some of y'all. I'm going to always challenge your mindset. Because majority of this world live with a limited mindset. Think bigger, think better. Think how you can do bigger and better. Just like the same thing with me trying to create a sports network. I could sit on here and welcome to TD Fans Talk all day, every day for the next 50 years. Or 10 years from now, I could have some of y'all saying, man, y'all remember when he only had the Dolphins channel? Now this man is on television with his own network. Who knows? I don't know if that's what God has in store for me, so I don't know if that's the path that it's going to end up being. But at the end of the day, stop thinking so small. That's why you'll never win. Oh, he ain't no real fan. Cancel him. He talking about other teams. That broke pole mentality. It's the saddest thing ever. And then when I start talking like this, people get in their feelings. Oh, I'm unsubscribing to him. Because you can't take it. You can't take the truth. And it's all actually to help you. But the truth is, some of y'all deep down, well, it may sound right and it may sound like help, but I don't want to accept that from you. Like, come on, man. Y'all, man, boss up. Boss up. I ain't perfect. I ain't got all my stuff together. But you know what's right? I know I got this right. That's why eventually my stuff will be together. My life ain't perfect. I struggle with stuff. I'm still trying to get to certain places, still trying to do this and do that. I ain't no better than any one of y'all. And I don't try to act like I am. But when I know something, I'm gonna be that. When I know something, I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna be that. Whatever I know that I am, I'm gonna be it. All this limited conversations and limited talk, and then I get criticized for thinking bigger. And I ain't not even about the sports network, just in general. And all of this last 10 minutes derived from somebody's simple comment of this is a nitpick channel or whatever. Because you're a limited thinker. Do you understand what it takes to be great? Pontiac, I ain't even talking about D1. I don't talk about that guy, man. He mad at me because he lost a debate. It's all good, man. He can go all on social media, try to slander me, and the limited thinking people are the ones just like, yeah, he is a fake Dolphins fan. I'm going to unsubscribe to him. Why does God care about TD Sports Network? I don't know if he does. That's why I said, because maybe God doesn't care about TD Sports Network. Maybe 5 years from now, God will have me preaching. I don't know what God gonna have me do, but I have my own goals and visions. But I do listen to him to direct my path. I listen to him to do what I do what he tells me to do. So I'm going on a path right now. And I'm going to try to follow that path, but I do listen to my God on what I should be doing and what I should be following, what path. And the same person said there are children starving. And I agree, Charles. And maybe if God wants to bless TD Sports Network and make it $1 billion industry, maybe I'll have the resources to go help those starving children. I don't have the resources right now to help starving children. Outside of local community stuff where I give where I can, and we give all the time what we can. Trust me on that. But maybe that's part of how God works. He'll bless the TD Sports Network so that he knows that I may not take care of all the starving kids, but I'm taking care of a whole bunch of kids that he also has a vision for in their future. So all these questions, all these, why would God care about TD Sports Talk or Fence Talk, whatever, and there are starving children, why would God care about? Well, guess what? God works in mysterious ways, because if he wanted to, he could just snap his fingers and there'll be no starving children. But obviously he's teaching some lessons and humbling some people and giving them a path to show how good he is. At least that's what I believe. That's what my faith tells me to believe. So I'm sorry. I'm doing what he tells me to do in life, and he will guide me. He will guide my path. But in the process, I will continue to put the work in, And who knows, 5 years from now, TD Fans Talk may not even exist. It may not even exist, but you know what? If it doesn't exist, it's only because I'm doing something else he told me to do. It's that simple. My life is not mine. My life is not mine. I've been gave it to him. He leads my path, okay? He said, children have to starve to teach a lesson. Guess what, Charles? Are they starving right now? Say no lessons being taught. They're still starving, right? So what are you saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm talking to somebody who isn't in the word like I am, but according to my faith, God definitely teaches people lessons. And he definitely allows things to happen to you during that process. It's no different from the people in the wilderness for 400 years until they learned their lesson, until they learned why they were still there. It's no different. Ain't no different if we both know what the word says. I don't know. Maybe I'm arguing with somebody that don't know what the word says. I'm not sure. 9,000 children die from malnutrition every day. They do. I'm trying to understand your point, though, Charles, because I like this conversation because it allows me to profess my faith. Any conversation that allows me to profess my faith, I love having, but I'm trying to understand your point. 9,000 children die every day. It's so unfortunate, but what's the point that you're making behind that? And I mean, this isn't a come back and forth or we going at each other. No, this is a real conversation because I enjoy these. I enjoy anytime I'm able to show God that I'm not ashamed to tell people that I love them every chance I get. Every chance I get. Some things are very simple, like we have a terrible QE. Oh Lord. Anyone that wants to follow me must deny himself, carry his cross and follow me. Jesus the Christ. Not that I'm that religious. Oh, it went by fast. Sorry, bro. Not that I'm that religious, but if God is God, why can't God care about all things at once? He does. He does care about all things at once. He definitely cares about all things at once. But again, once you study your word, you'll understand what our purpose is, even on this planet, what our purpose is. And once you understand that, you'll understand the spiritual warfare that's going on. It's just like the story of Job. Job was one of his best. And at the end of the day, the devil said he will deny you. And God said, you know what? Go at Job. Let's see if he deny you, but do not put your hands on him, but do what you must. Killed the man kids, did all kind of stuff to Job. And that's what it's about, the story of Job. He didn't deny him. Gave everything back tenfold. But there's always a lesson because sometimes we have free will, but our character and who we are, God already knows what he made in us. Our character and who we are, we're flawed individuals. We are all flawed, and he knows that. So within that, he teaches lessons to bring you back to him so that you understand what your true purpose is in life, man. God allowed Satan to torture Job on a bet. Yeah, he did. And what was the end result? We always talk about the fight, but what was the end result? Because God already knew Job wasn't going to deny him. And what did he bless Job with when it was all done, said and done? And you call it torture. How can you torture somebody with something that ain't theirs? See, that's the difference. God could never I could never be tortured. I'll put it like that. Because my life isn't mine. That's the whole thing. He said that's cruel. It's not. See, that's the biggest fundamental, I think, in Christianity. Once you come to the realization that your life isn't yours, because to feel like that's cruel, That's because you're taking ownership of your own life. You care about how you feel and what he made you feel. None of that matters because your own life ain't yours. It's not yours. You have a purpose to fulfill. Even if you're not religious, you come on this earth, let's say you live a max life 100 years and you gone. At some point, you start to realize there was a purpose for me to be here, whether that was for 5 days, 5 years, 40 years, 70 years, or 100 years. There was a purpose. People find their purpose in different places. I just found mine in God. And I'm telling you, and this is why it's so easy for me to believe, because I've seen the evidence. I've seen the fruits from it. I've seen what living a righteous life can do, because I ain't always live a righteous life. Still ain't perfect. Still ain't like just doing everything that I probably can do. I'm not. But he understands that we're all flawed. But I see the benefits of following his principles within my life, within my children, within everything, the opportunities I get, everything. And don't think just because I'm this way, I get opportunities, because he reigns on the just and the unjust. But then you got to go to the story about the foundation, built on a rock or built on the ground. You see what I mean? Well, you may not see what I mean, but you got to go, then you got to go to that story. What's your foundation? Because he'll bless the sinner and the saint. But when he blesses the sinner, it doesn't have the foundation to sustain. When he blesses the saint, they have a foundation that tends to sustain it, and that can still be taken away. It's test, man. My life ain't mine. I always, even when I pray, do as you please, God. Let me be a test. Torture me. Come on, devil. Attack me. I'm ready for it. And it's going to happen. And I don't know that if due to my faith being that strong that I don't get attacked as much with crazy things, but I'm always ready for it, and I expect it to happen, because the devil don't want those breakthroughs. He don't want you to feel this way. So that's why he even made what you would call the bet with Job. That's why he would. Anyway, man, y'all got me over here preaching, but I enjoy it because, like I said before, the most gratifying thing for me is when I get an opportunity to, in front of everybody, without feeling embarrassed, without feeling any type of way, profess my love for God. And I always tell y'all, I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. But I know the reason why I'm here. TD Sunday Talk. He ain't a real Dolphin fan. He got TD Sunday Talk. He ain't no real fan. Oh my gosh, man. Oh man. I love it though. I'm having a beer with Satan right now. We're enjoying this. Enjoy it, man. Tell him about God though. Tell him about God. He may not even trip on you. You want to have a beer with Satan, throw one back. Tell him about God. Tell him a little about God. If I had a chance, I'd have a beer with him too. But I'll be telling him a little bit about God. And he knows more than you and me about God. Trust me. His job is to make sure that he takes you away from him. All right. TD Sunday Talk before the live stream 2022 season. Maybe give some good words, some good inspiration. That might be something that we could bring in 2022 before game time. Might actually do that. TD, you sound like a Marine. Oh, it went by fast. TD, you sound like a Marine now. Get some. All right. Depend and trust in him. Worry. I don't know what that meant. We having Bible study on a Thursday. It is Thursday. Usually it's Wednesday nights in the church or something like that. It depends on what church you go to, or Tuesday nights. That's not even the point. If God is so amazing and loves all of us and wants the best, hold on. wants the best, then why do so many bad things happen to people, and why is this world so awful and full of hate and problems? I don't have the answer to everything because he's a mysterious God, and that's what the word tells you as well. But what I do know is he allows you to reach for a goal, and that ultimate goal is to make it to heaven. And those things don't exist in heaven. Those things don't exist in heaven. So at the end of the day, if you understand fighting a spiritual warfare, then you understand there's a war. There's two sides in a war, sometimes 3 and 4, but in this case, I want to say 2. Um, and when you have that, that means one side is trying to bring you towards something, and the other side is trying to keep you away from something. You got to ask yourself what that is and what both sides will represent in this war, whether you're a believer or not. I never push my beliefs on anyone. That's why I kind of speak in neutrals. I tell you what I believe, but I also speak in generalizations as far as whether you believe in it or not, because I love everybody. Like you just said, God so loved the world. But remember, many are calling, but few are chosen. They didn't say everybody. Let's make sure we get that understand. Many are calling, but few are chosen. It did not say everybody. It didn't. He loves the world and the people thereof. But at the same token, you got to understand the bigger scheme of things. And that's another thing. People don't understand the bigger scheme of things. Like I even like let's take it away from a religious realm, even though everything could be religious, right? Let's take it from a religious realm. Let's be honest about something real quick. The reality is everybody is so obsessed with themselves and caring about themselves and the individual, and instead of the group. This world is not of group thinking. What do I mean by that? We sit here in presidential elections and stuff and fight over which side is right and who should be a president, when we all should be coming together and figuring out the future of humanity, preserving what he even made, because everything has a start and finish except him. Everything has a start and finish except him and where he's from. In that realm, it's eternity. But in ours, we should be trying to preserve what's been given to us by whoever you want to believe gave it. Whether you want to believe God, which I do, whether you want to believe the Big Bang did it, or whatever you want to believe. That's what I mean by I don't never talk about what anybody believes. And it's fair for whatever you believe. I just know that I love to profess what I do believe. So that way you don't have to feel like we're against each other. We have a difference of opinions and all of that. I respect all beliefs, but I'm a living mind. Okay. But we're good regardless of what you believe. Oh, well, TD, I worship the devil. Okay. How you doing, man? You okay? I don't got nothing against you. That's your belief. Again, ain't nobody perfect in my eyes. Okay. But I mean, we should be a people working together. Like people think like Elon Musk is this crazy man, right? But he's the exact example of a guy who thinks beyond the basic realm of himself. The man barely gets paid any money, sleeps in his warehouses, trying to get to Mars and space and do all of that stuff. And people are like, why is he doing all that crazy stuff? We know how old this earth is. Scientists have determined how old the earth is. The day of creation by whoever you feel created it, right? And they also have found other places in galaxies and solar systems that have expanded, exploded, and all of that. And they know how long this earth should stay alive. Now, it may be 500 to a billion more years, and you couldn't even imagine that. Like, it's not even a concern to you. But maybe that's how long it takes to get to our next destination to continue evolution. But we all worrying about who the president and what you like and all this and that, instead of a nation getting together, building for the future and inhabiting multiple planets. I mean, nobody ever thought cell phones would exist. Nobody ever, I mean, I lived in the age where none of this stuff existed and it all of a sudden existed. And I had a good portion of both eras. That's why I feel like people, I always say this, I feel like people like between the age of like 29 to 43, that is a group of people that actually lived and partook in two major eras. We went from industrial and to gosh, I don't know why I'm having to bring forward the word to the internet age. Somebody will give me the right word in a second. I don't know why I'm shooting a blank. We lived both. There are things today that 25 years ago, if you really think about it, those who are in that age range, you would have never thought could exist. You would have never thought it could exist. Somebody introduced the idea, you'd have been like, fool crazy. That's real. And we look at things like, man, there's people on Mars. I'm going like think about it. I don't care if it's 5 million years from now. There may be people that say, "Oh, we going to Mars this weekend. You want to come?" Right now, I expect everybody to be like, TD on some crazy stuff right now. But this is the reality. Information age. Thank you so much. Thank you. Information age. This is the reality. Do you know how much the government and these major corporations are using AI? They're just policing it well to make sure it doesn't get out of hand and take over stuff. But they're using AI to deter. Do you know how much stuff they're discovering today, every day? 50 new things are being discovered just because they got the computer power now to go ahead and do the mind thinking. All the stuff we had to invent back in the day, computers are inventing today that we don't even know about, that we're not talking about. These computers are predicting the future. There are computers right now that'll tell you, can estimate to almost a T when you're going to get in an accident, when you're going to pass away, when you're going to do this, what you're going to eat on Tuesday night. You put your credit card information in the system and all of this data circulating out here. They know everything about you and what you're capable of. And I think of it as a beautiful thing because it's evolution. And I feel like what I believe my God intended was for us to evolve. Not sit in this same turmoil, going back and forth, fighting against each other about color, what gender I am, or all of that stuff, man. All of that stuff. It's like the only time, especially in this country, the only time we come together as a people is if we go to war. Truer words can never be said. The only thing that unifies many of us is when something happens on our soil and that patriotism kicks in and we all feel threatened and finally we're all together. The only time. Never seen unity like the years after 9/11. Never. Even to this day, ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen unity like the years right after 9/11. Never. Never seen that kind of unity. People didn't care about what color it didn't matter. Why does it take tragedy for these moments to take place? Because it's all a choice. It's all a choice, man. And we all make them. Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad. Even then, not everyone. It'll never be everyone, but you can never expect everyone. You just need the overall masses. I'm gonna throw a number out there. 80%. Right now, I'm looking at a nation that's so 50-50, but at least at the 9/11, I can strongly say at least 80%, bro. Tell me I'm wrong. At least 80. Mm. He leads more than talk. Alien invasion is the next false flag. Man, I don't know, man. All I know is I remember around 2010, like there were a lot of billionaires and scientists saying that the next warfare is biological. And we were expecting a pandemic. And 20 years later, one came. Not sure if it was a biological weapon, but I don't know yet. But sometimes these things are talked about 10, 15 years before they happen, but most people don't care because it's not their job to care about it. Because we've been thrusted into a society of capitalism where we're all in the pursuit of having a better life and getting this cash and enjoying life. I I read something one time that was very enlightening to me. It just hit me, man. It's the simplest thing that was said, but I want y'all to really think about this. Humanity, people could have chosen to lay up on a beach every day of their lives and relax, but instead we chose jobs and bills. I want y'all to think about that. Humanity could have chosen to kick back, chill, and relax, but instead we chose jobs and bills. Think about that. At what point did people say, hey, we all can't relax no more? It's time to get to work. Why? Because I want more than even this. That's what it comes down to. At some point, somebody said, I want even more than this. I want more than this. And how did they get other people to say? Because think about it, if that happened, people would be like, "Well, that's your business. Bye. I'm chilling. I'm staying." So how did they get the change to happen? Easy. All you got to do is start holding territories. So now people can't roam free. Nah, this is my area. You can't come over here. And eventually people start grabbing up areas and countries and nations. And once everybody got their country and their nation, bam, still ain't enough. It's always, I want more. Then you got war. More equals war. And then you have nations conquering nations. I want more. Other people are too big now. We can't conquer many more nations. So how do we get more? Maybe let's go to that nation and take some people to get free labor or whatever it may be. It's always the idea of just wanting more. It's never, and it's greed. That's why they say money is the root of all evil. That is the biggest lie ever told. It's the greed of money or whatever that's really the root. It's the greed. That's what always changes. That's the thing that's constant on this planet. People will always want more. It's hard to find people that's just good with what they got, because the truth is most people that say, no, I'm good with what I got, are lying to themselves. Even I want more. It's almost built in. It's built in. Just want more. But if everybody got enough to get one, Anybody who wants more, if they succeed, somebody's in trouble. Rationalization is the most dangerous thing humans ever invented. The love of money. I don't believe that whatsoever. Blessed is the man content with what he has. Yes. And honestly, when you're content with what you have, that's typically when you get blessed with more anyway. But you got to be content first. Bree, what's up, homie? He said, Dolphins fans, we should just be happy we have a team in the NFL. Am I right? Happy we have a team in the NFL. No, you're not right. Because if we didn't have a team in the NFL, we would still have a team in the NFL. Because if the Dolphins didn't exist, most of us would just be a fan of another team because we never knew about the Dolphins. Whatever team that would be, we would just be fans of them. That's typically how that works. Typically how it works. When your team's so bad, you start talking about outer space. I like that one. That was a good one. Actually, the lack of money is the root of all evil. Most crimes, most domestic violence issues, petty theft, carjacking, Ubi would fix most of those. You're right in that regards. You know, the lack of it is the lack of it causes a lot of evil. But again, I'm one of those why people. Ask why 5 times. Why don't you have enough money? You know, you just got to keep breaking it down and you'll get to a realization at the end. I know y'all have heard this one too. Somebody said this recently. I forgot who it was. It was a celebrity. But they basically said they were basically talking about their experience having a conversation with a billionaire. And this is what a billionaire told him. The billionaire said, if we took all the money in the United States and evenly distributed to every person in the country, the same 5% of wealthy people will get all of their money back within 10 years. They would get all the same money back within 10 years. If they took all the wealth in the country and evenly distributed, the same top percent will still get their money back. And the same people who were at the bottom will be right back where they were. And unfortunately, I look at the bigger picture of what was said, and it was 1,000% factual. If you really break that down, it's the truth. That's why people be like, oh, the wealthy people, they greedy, they this and that, and this. They would get all that money right back. They said it wouldn't matter. They can come take our money. We'll have it right back. Because the reality is there's certain principles. You're either consumers or producers. And 95% of this country are consumers. You will always take whatever money you have and look for what you can buy instead of what you can produce that others can buy. Matter of fact, you feel that it's even too risky to waste your money. You use terms like waste your money on creating something that people may not buy. All the negative words will come out. All the negative words will come out. The economy would collapse first. Of course it'll collapse, but it'll be rebuilt right back up. I would love that though. It collapsed. I take all my money and put it into stocks for things of the future. And those same billionaires going to do wherever they're putting their money, that's where I'm putting mine. Because that's where they're going to be investing in. And that's what people are going to consume and they're going to buy. That's what they're going to buy. Andrew Yang was right. About what? About what? To the chat, who believes in Stephen Ross and why? Breon asking y'all a question. Who believes in Stephen Ross and why? TD, who's your favorite draft prospect? Honestly, my favorite prospect in the draft is not having a draft pick. Trade them all. Trade them all. Go give me some proven players. I'm so tired of projects and I'm over that mess. Because there's still no guarantees and all of that. Trade them all. Oh, yeah, be specific. Nobody gonna answer Bree question. Who believes in Stephen Ross and why? I think everybody gonna say nobody gonna say they do. Some Dolphin fans think the organization is the worst, but did you know that there are NFL teams that have never made it to a Super Bowl, let alone have won one? Yeah, we know. We know. Some of these YouTubers have two favorite teams and think Cam Newton is the best QB to play the game. Y'all leave the man alone now. Yes, give us known talent. Garrett Wilson, to me, is really promising wide receiver from Ohio State. I believe it, but again, we talk about promising, hopeful, and all of that stuff. I'm so over it. TD, who's the best QB in it? Oh, it went by fast. Ooh, man. Sharif, put it again, because this thing moving on me, and I can't scroll it down. Dolphins to interview Charles London of offensive coordinator position. Yeah, we knew that 3 days ago. They came out 2 days ago. They came out with that. Why do you think our standards are so high? LOL. Are you talking about the fans? Why are our standards for the team so high? Because we've been through it all. The fails, the falls. We're like Niagara, but we get right back up like Viagra. that's somebody's lyrics. But anyway, we've been through it all, man. We've tried so many different ways. We've tried so many different ways, and it just hasn't worked. You have to understand, y'all, this goes all the way back to before Dan Marino. So remember, we had Marino. I don't care that we won and we went to a Super Bowl. We didn't win with Marino. Still a failure. I've been meaning to ask y'all that. Do y'all want to get back to the Marino days? Is that what the goal is? Yes or no in the comment section. Is that what the goal is? You just want to get back to the Marino days? Lucky you said, yup, I take it. Okay. So y'all want all them years of winning nothing just to go back into purgatory. Y'all just confirmed my suspicion. I'm seeing a lot of, yeah, I'll take that. Yep, I would. Y'all just confirmed it for me. This ain't about a Super Bowl. Let's be honest. It's really not about a Super Bowl. It's just about competing and going far if you can. Am I right? This ain't really about a Super Bowl. I think I've come to the conclusion that some of y'all believe that if you win a Super Bowl, that's a luxury. You're lucky. All you can ask for is to compete and just, be in the dance and feel good about yourself. It's not about a Super Bowl. And I'm going to understand that going forward. I'm going to respect that going forward. So when we say we could build around certain people and all this and that, this has really humbled me to take a step back and say, you know what? All we're trying to do is go to the playoffs and maybe win a game or two on an occasional year here and there. Make the playoffs. We didn't win a game. Make the playoffs. We won a game. Make the playoffs. We won 2 games. Make the playoffs. Don't win a game. Make the playoffs. We won 2 games. Make the playoffs. Don't win a game. That's all good. Then if that's the case, I'm going to be honest with y'all. We should never really be complaining about any player. You could have a hole on any part of the team and accomplish that. You could have a bad run defense and make the playoffs and even win a game. You could have a bad quarterback and make the playoffs and even win a game. Not a bad, but an average, let's just say. You could have terrible corners and still make the playoffs and win a game. I get it now. I want to apologize to everybody that I've argued with, because only thing I've seen for the last 4 years in Desired is a Super Bowl. That's it. That has been my only desire. That's it. Nothing else in my lifetime to win a Super Bowl. But I get it. That ain't the end all be for everybody. Just create a team that's winning and competing every year, and even if we don't get one, that's fine. I get it now. Yeah, we should never be arguing. We don't want the Marino era. We want the player, TD. I asked that question specifically, the era, for a reason. I know we all want the player, but I asked that level of success, period. And people said, yeah, that's all. You losing some weight there, TD? Little bit, but I'm pacing myself. I realize I need to stop saying I need to lose 20 this month and 20 next month. And then I lose, instead of 20, I lose 12, and then I get disappointed and put on 3. So I've lowered my expectations, however that comes. I have a goal of 6 pounds a month. I want to lose 72 pounds this year. Just 6 a month. 6 a month. I want to lose 72 pounds this year. So stop thinking that I could just drop 72 in 4 months. People probably have done it, but that's all. TD, read the super chat. I didn't know one came through. Let me see. Oh, there it is. If Mike McDaniel goes 5-11, 10-6, and 9-8 over the next 3 seasons, does he get fired? No, it just depends on how that happened. It depends on how that happens. Nah, Steve, ain't no Dolphin in there, man. I mean, everything ain't just about the record. He can go 5-11 and realize Tua ain't the guy. Then he can go get a guy. Probably ain't gonna have an opportunity to go get a guy at that point. You just get another guy and go 10-6 and still probably miss the playoffs in today's NFL. And like, oh crap, we went 10-6, but that's still improvement over last year. We see the improvement. Then can go 9-8, same as last year. You don't know how that'll work. Maybe the quarterback got hurt. I don't know. Don't know. Maybe we can go 5-11 and Tua balls out, but the defense takes a step back and just can't stop nobody. And it ain't 5-11. And whoever wrote this is still on a 16-game season, except the 9-8. They went 17 games. But I get your point, regardless. Did you see the super chat? Not another one. Was there? Yeah, I just got this one. Was there another one I missed? No, I got my brother's Bree. Those are Flores exact records. Yeah, so hey, I guess the answer applies. It depends on how it happens. 5-11, justifiable. We purge the whole system. We purge the whole team. The difference is we ain't purging the team right now. 10-6, that's a good record. Still missed the playoffs, but what happened in the season? 9-8, maybe your quarterback got hurt. Yep, that sounds about right. I bet Stephen Ross already made deal with the new head coach. Hey, did y'all hear Mike McDaniel when they asked him about was there any red flags? Oh my gosh, that was the funniest thing I ever heard, boy. Mike McDaniel's funny to me. He is funny to me. Did y'all hear what he said when they asked him about red flags? Man, he is funny to me. Oh, man. So Watson to Miami is dead. In my opinion, it's like a 95% to 5% now. So that's pretty much dead. Yeah, it was a stupid question, but it was a fair question. You know they were going to try to get something about that in. It was funny to me, though, his response. This is what he basically said and summed it up at the end. He basically brought it back to Ross and said, you should appreciate this man. Right, wrong, or indifferent. He said, whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent. I was like, I guess that's a good way to not confirm or deny it, boy. Oh, man, TD, quit poking the bear. No, I'm not poking the bear. It was just funny to me because, and I like that from McDaniels. He didn't basically say, no, Ross ain't doing that or nothing like that. Whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's all you can ask for an owner that's willing to do anything to win, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. Oh, my gosh. I said, boy, he going to take the money. That's for dog on the show. Oh, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I saw the report. ESPN is, I didn't know this. ESPN is talking about it now. The headline on ESPN, Mike McDaniel praises Dolphins owner Stephen Ross for commitment to winning despite allegations from ex-head coach Brian Flores. You know they're going to be talking about this and twisting it. You know they're going to be all on the sports media tomorrow talking about it. Those words, man. They were honest and true. I think he was just being honest and true. And here's the deal. I don't have a problem with what he said. I don't care if Ross offered Mike McDaniel money and he took it. I don't have a problem. Only time I have a problem is if the owner has a problem with whatever that coach decides. If that coach say yes, it's all good. If that coach says no, owner ain't got no right to get mad at him about it. At the end of the day, you asking him to do something wrong. So if he wants to do it, okay. But if he doesn't, it should be respected and not actually disliked or frowned upon or retaliated against, presumably, right? R. Baker said, wouldn't it be ironic if Jalen Hurts comes to Miami and beats out Tua for the job? Why would we think that though? Why would we think that Jalen Hurts would be coming to Miami? I mean, is there a report out or something like that that suggests such a thing? Yeah, agreed, TD. This team has serious FO issues. My brain ain't on right now, man. What's FO issues? What that mean? FO issues. I don't know. And watch when you tell me what the FO stands for, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, of course. He is intelligent with his answers. Yeah, yeah. Dang, my supers chat was washed. What that mean? What it mean by being washed? Oh, you mean my answer about Jalen Hurts coming to buy it? No, I mean I just don't see that happening at all. I mean, you want me to elaborate on something that I just don't think is going to happen? But would it be ironic? I mean, I guess because Tua replaced him at Alabama, so I don't know. Um, Miami Dolphins, days of our lives. You ain't never lied. I ain't gonna lie, TD. When he started getting emotional and looked at his wife after praising her, and he said, "Don't do that to me," in a press conference, I felt that all over my body, man. Yeah, that's good, genuine. That's good, genuine love, man. That's what you want to see. Front office, appreciate you, bro. Now I forgot what was said. Front office FO. Let me look for the FO comment. This team has serious front office issues. Yeah. Yep. Reality TV show. What happens if the owner has to sell the team? It depends on his buying agreement because he has an agreement with a close business associate that he'll allow him to buy it from his estate or whatever. Succession plan. So it's either that or if the NFL wipes that out, they're just who's the next owner. The team will be up for sale. It's about prove us wrong. Until then, Tua sucks. Oh man. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody got to prove something. The new coach got to prove it. Tua got to prove it. Linemen have to prove. Everybody got to prove it. You know, it's just unfortunate you if you don't just give them the keys that people will try to attack you. But hey, it is what it is. All we can do is stay true to ourselves and ignore that stuff. That's cool, but can he win football games? Got to prove himself. I like all the talk. It's sounding all good. I love his football philosophy. One of the biggest things that I love that he said is that, and me and Em had this argument, you create an offense, it's not necessarily the scheme because you create a scheme based off of your personnel. And I've been saying that for the longest. Great coaches create a scheme based off of their players instead of just running to find the players that fit their scheme. Great coaches can work with players that don't fit their scheme because they can adjust the scheme for that player to fit in. And I love when he's talked about that because it showed the approach. But this team may have a lot of players that you have to work around, and at some point you got to just be like, nah, you can't be fit. You can't be scheming around so many different players. It's all talk until it's proven. He ain't ready for war. Time tells, man. How you feel about possible Will Fuller resign with us? Why am I hearing that creep up a lot more? I've heard that a lot over the last 5 days. Well, maybe we'll bring Will Fuller back. I've heard different variations of Will Fuller back to Miami a lot in the last 5 days. Why is that? I'm trying to understand it. We'll see. I believe in Mike McDaniel. but I'm afraid Tua will hold him back. It's part of the process. That's why I think everybody don't need to expect the biggest, best things this year, but next year, maybe we can be headed in that direction. Or maybe we get shocked this year and get the world. I don't know. I see the breaking news. So the James Harden, Ben Simmons trade is official. I don't think that helps Brooklyn, but I think it definitely helps Philly. Cleveland gonna win it all anyway. But anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Coming up on 3 o'clock, and I'm gonna go pick up my little one from school. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Appreciate everybody who've been rocking with me and staying down with me while my haters continue to try to hate on me. Thank y'all, and I love y'all. I will see y'all soon. Peace. I am out.